What's going on, guys? I'm your host from the East Coast, Gene the Man 94, here to bring you guys my WWE Smackdown Live review for January 10th, 2017. We had another very solid episode of Smackdown that established a few things heading into the Royal Rumble. Some things are still being built up a little bit, and some storylines being progressed a little bit. So let's get right into it. I very much enjoyed this episode of Smackdown. Not too much to complain about, except for that one Carmella match. Didn't really understand that. The girl she was in there working with was a jobber, but it was just very, very sloppy. It was kind of confusing, so I don't know. Other than that, though, everything else, even leading up into next week is something that I'm very excited for. So SmackDown Live kicked off with the new Intercontinental Champion Dean Ambrose and the return of his show, The Ambrose Asylum. So, before he gets the show started, he announces that he's entering the Royal Rumble. And then his guest comes out before he can introduce him, and it's The Miz, who obviously did not want to be there. The Miz says, every day that Dean Ambrose is holding his title, he's diminishing the legacy of it and tainting the legacy of the Royal Rumble by entering the match. The Miz says he can't let him do that, and that he will be joining the Royal Rumble match. And that last week, since Dean pretty much prevented the ref from ending the match when it should have been thrown out as a disqualification, he threatened to put him in legal trouble and, have a bunch of legal fees that he would have to pay if he didn't hand over what's his. So Dean looked at him, he was like, you know what, you're right. I do have something that belongs to The Miz, and I'll give it back. And and then, The Miz is like, yes, thank you. See, Dean's a stand-up guy. Everybody says you're a lunatic, but you're actually a pretty cool dude. So, he reaches for the title, and Dean just throws it over his shoulder. He goes over to this little stool that he had sitting there, and then he pulls out this little, whatever. It was a little pouch that had this trophy in it, or this little plaque in it. And the plaque was The Miz's own participation award. And he gave it back to him. He was like, yeah, here you go, Miz. Because you tried. And I'm sitting here dying. Because when The Miz gave out that plaque, that award, it was hilarious. Just the fact that somebody gave it right back to him because he didn't, he didn't retain his championship. It was just freaking hilarious. And The Miz was like, yeah, you're a funny guy. And then he threw the plaque at him and they just started going at it. Miz was pretty much had the upper advantage on him. Then he tried to get Maurice to slap him in the face. Dean moved. Maurice slapped The Miz in the face. And Dean was able to hit him with the dirty deeds. And then he picked up the plaque and gave it to Maurice. As you could probably tell by the thumbnail, I believe I had to make that the thumbnail. The face that Dean Ambrose made, if you're looking at it right now, was just freaking hilarious. After all of that, he looked at her and was like, there you go, and then just left the ring. Great segment. It didn't go that long. Didn't need to. And it got, The Miz and Dean to announce that they're in the Royal Rumble, and they're going to probably continue their storyline for the IC Championship. After that, we had Nikki Bella, who was heading to the ring to have her match against Natalya. But instead, Natalya comes from out of a locker room and attacks Nikki Bella from behind once again, just as she did during the Survivor Series match. So she attacked her from behind and was like, see you out there, Nikki. And, as soon as, Natalya made her entrance for the match, Nikki Bella came out. She was holding her leg because Natalya threw her into, some crates or something, or right into a wall. She came out, Nikki Bella got in the ring and immediately just speared her, and they just started brawling. The match didn't even get started. Natalya tried to run away. Nikki Bella chased her. They fought on the ramp for a little bit, got back into the ring, fought some more. Natalya tried escaping through the crowd, but to no avail. And it was at that point they kept fighting. They had to get referees from the back to separate them, who actually did a terrible job because that didn't work. This had been coming for a long time since Survivor Series. And, the refs just didn't do a good job of separating them. And it was kind of hard to do so because Nikki Bella had so much animosity towards Natalya because she ruined her chance to be the team captain for the SmackDown women's team that they actually wound up losing, and she got attacked from behind. And, you know, Nikki Bella's health history, she isn't exactly, you know, the healthiest that she can be. Like, she is probably now, but the fact that somebody attacked her from behind, tried to injure her, tried to take her out again after she came back from a career-threatening injury, just isn't something she wanted to deal with, especially from somebody she had so much respect for, so much admiration for in Natalya. So they continued to fight. Natalya chop blocked her leg, the one that she had, you know, held coming out from her entrance after getting attacked. And then on the outside of the ring, she put Nikki Bella in a sharpshooter, thus ending the brawl. And that's pretty much it. It was good. I really enjoyed this segment as well because we thought we were going to get the match, but we didn't because there was so much heat towards each other. They just couldn't have the match. They just brawled instead. It had been building up for a while, and the match is saved for a future date, and it'll be a high-profile match, and it has nothing to do with the Women's Championship. Raw, you should definitely take notes on that, because that's how you make women feel important, right there. There's no title involved here. There's no title match depending on who wins this rivalry. It's just a good storyline that people are invested in and they love. They're having good promos and good segments, so nothing to complain about. So after we get that, we have Dolph Ziggler in the back, and he's questioned about, you know, why did he attack Kalisto last week and why did he go after Apollo Crews after that. So, you know, they rolled the tape of what happened, and, you know, Kalisto came out to save him because Baron Corbin was attacking him after the match or whatever, and grabbed a steel chair. Kalisto saved him. Dolph Ziggler turned on him, super kicked him in the face, started yelling at him. And then in the backstage area, Apollo Crews questioned, you know, why he did that to his friend Kalisto, and then Dolph headbutted him and they started going at it. So, you know, after she asked the question, Dolph looked at her, he took a deep breath, and walked away. He didn't say nothing because he doesn't owe anybody any explanation. And I love that. He didn't have to say anything. He didn't have to explain himself. He just went to the ring to have his match with Kalisto, who requested the match against him. Kalisto came out aggressive, obviously wanted revenge from last week, especially since he attempted to help Ziggler. Like I said a little bit ago, Ziggler turned on him. So, you know, Ziggler was resorting back to his amateur background, his amateur wrestling background from Kent State University right here in Ohio. It's his bread and butter, and it helps while he's working over the body parts of his opponent. Trying to ground Kalisto, who's very high-flying, very athletic, very agile. The man can just do incredible things. I don't know why he's not in the cruiserweight division, to be honest. He's got the perfect size for it, and he would make great strides in the cruiserweight division. I feel like that's where he'll be better utilized. He's not going to be utilized on SmackDown. I'm sorry, he's not. But you know, as Ziggler was getting close to victory, he went for a roll-up. Kalisto reversed the roll-up and picked up the win. So Ziggler loses not only just the match, but he loses it to somebody he probably shouldn't have been losing to. So once again, he's on the losing end, and he snapped again. And, you know, after the match, he got up and he clotheslined Kalisto and went and grabbed a steel chair, hit him a couple times, and as he was going up the ramp, Apollo Crews comes out to confront him for attacking his friend once again. They go at it for a little bit. He gets back into the ring, and they're fighting in the ring. Then Ziggler finds a way to pick up the steel chair and hit him too. Hit him over the back like 3 times as well. Then I think he hit Kalisto one more time for good measure. And like I said, I love this. His rage is building up all the way, and he's going crazy because he keeps losing matches. He's not just saying, oh, well, if I have one more opportunity. No, he's snapped. He's completely snapped, and commentary is putting that over. And it's great because, you know, heel Ziggler is the best Ziggler. And this is the world champion Ziggler. I know it sounds weird because he's losing matches, but this type of attitude, this type of aggression is the guy who won the world title a few years back. That's the guy who's going to probably win it in the future. So keep a lookout for Ziggler. I'm glad they turned him heel. He has a new attitude and, you know, completely reinventing himself. He's going to get back on the winning side of things here pretty soon. It's just like the Usos. You know, their character was getting a little bit stale. They turned heel and completely changed up everything. So we'll see. We'll see where they go with that. Hopefully they just continue to build him even more as well. We had American Alpha in the locker room talking about their tag team championship match against the Wyatts. They said the Wyatts are dominant and they know how dangerous they are, but they aren't the alphas, pun intended, of the SmackDown locker room. And it isn't arrogance, it's confidence. It doesn't matter if you're a god or a snake or whatever or whatever Luke Harper is. That's what they said. When you step in the ring with American Alpha, you have to bring your A game. They've beat them once and they'll do it once again and retain their tag team championships. I like this because, the first time they faced off against the Wyatts, they were, kind of timid a little bit because the Wyatts are just this, demonic force, this just group that just goes out and destroys everybody. But the fact that American Alpha was able to get the victory on them and take the titles from them, they're no longer afraid of what the Wyatts are. They respect them, they know what they can do, but they're not afraid of them because they know they can beat them. After that, we had John Cena backstage talking about his match against Baron Corbin coming up in the main event. He was wondering who the hell Baron Corbin thinks he is for needing to make a statement against him of all people. He said, he's run through everybody in the locker room, and John Cena is the one that needs to make the statement. They called him a has-been last week, and Corbin agreed with him, and he said that's something he hasn't heard before, but he agrees. It has been a long time since he's had to prove that he belongs, and John Cena has been too polite with these new era chumps. And tonight, John Cena has been fired up, and he's going to go at the biggest guy and knock his teeth down his throat. And AJ is going to get a preview of what's in store for him at the Royal Rumble, because he's John Cena, recognized that his time is now. Another great promo from Cena. It's always a great promo from John Cena. That's something you never have to worry about. Just of all things you would have to worry about, his promo is definitely not one of them. Then we get, Bray Wyatt. They did a little video message before the tag team championship match. He says, he hopes American Alpha enjoyed their time as tag team champions because nothing lasts forever and the devil is at their door. And that's when we get the WWE Tag Team Championship match. Another great match. American Alpha, like I said, wasn't intimidated by the Wyatts anymore because they know they can beat them. Even with Bray Wyatt in the match instead of Luke Harper, because of the Freebird rules is how they were, defending the titles, and it's how they're going after the titles once again. The Alpha still brought the fight to them. The Wyatts were able to work over the smaller Chad Gable, even though he was on fire in the beginning portion of the match. Kept him away from Jason Jordan to build up the hot tag, which he did wind up getting, but he got killed by Randy Orton after he tried to go to the top rope and got distracted by Luke Harper. It became a back and forth match pretty much after that. One that I really enjoyed. They really went at it, threw everything at each other, just like they did last week. Or I think it was 2 weeks ago. I forgot. Orton did the between the ropes DDT on Gable, who sold gold on that because he's stood straight up on his head. And when he did this move though, he threw, how he throws them onto the apron so he can, bring them into the ropes. When he did that, he knocked Luke Harper off the apron. Nothing major. Harper was just in the way. It wasn't nothing at that point. But after he hit the DDT, he was setting up for the RKO. Harper got back up onto the apron for God knows what reason. And this time distracting Orton. And, Orton got pushed into him, knocking him off the apron once again. And Orton got rolled up for the victory. So American Alpha retains their tag team championships, thus ending the Wyatt's pursuit of those tag team championships. They get their rematch and they lost. So after the match, they started arguing. Harper was just, arguing with Orton. Orton's just like, what the hell were you doing? I had the match won. Why would you even interfere? There was no point. And then Harper pushed Orton. Orton pushed him back. It was at that point Bray got into the ring to separate them, to get them, back on the same page. But it wasn't working. Orton just went right past Bray and went after Harper. Harper went to kick him. He kicked Bray Wyatt in the face instead because Orton moved out the way. So Bray Wyatt caught a kick to the face. He got up, looked at both of them, and was like, make me do it. And they just looked at him. Then they just kept staring at, each other, Harper and Orton. They just kept staring at each other. And then Bray looked at both of them and just got out of the ring and walked away. That was it. He didn't do, the follow the buzzers thing. He just got out of the ring. Obviously pissed off because not only did they lose their rematch for the tag titles, but he caught a kick to the face and his his family is imploding. Something we've seen built up for the past couple of weeks now. It's inevitable that Randy Orton's going to turn on both of them. And it's coming very, very, very soon, I think. And, we'll see what happens. Maybe it's going to happen next week. I thought it was going to happen during this match, to be honest. But I was obviously wrong about that. So, I'm excited. The crowd knows it's coming as well. They were starting to get hyped up for Orton to turn on them and, just hit somebody with an RKO out of nowhere. But it's coming. It's coming very, very soon. And it's going to be crazy when it happens. After that, we had Becky Lynch and Daniel Bryan watching the footage from her match last week with La Luchadora, and Becky said she knew that Alexa Bliss had, got into the match and started doing her whole moveset. That's why she was able to counter the Sparkle Splash and, make her tap out with the Disarmer. Then she exposed that it actually was Alexa Bliss, and then the other La Luchadora, came into the ring and they jumped her. So, Alexa Bliss came in and was just like, don't even try to do this. I was trying to find out the identity of her as well, so I went undercover, but Becky ruined it by attacking her. And then Daniel was just like, no, stop all this arguing you guys are doing. Here's what we're going to do. Next week, Alexa Bliss will defend her title against Becky Lynch, considering you tapped out last week. So, Becky was hyped up. Yeah, Alexa's like, really? How many times do I have to keep defending this title against her? I've beat her so many times. And then Daniel threw a curveball into the match. He was like, not only are you going to defend it, but to prevent the interference of the La Luchadoras, we're going to put this championship match inside of a steel cage. And I marked out. I'm like, yes! Not only have we gotten a Hell in a Cell match in the past few months, but now we're getting a women's steel cage match. And that's just going to be a hell of a match. I can't wait to see that next week. Hopefully that's the main event for SmackDown. It needs to be the main event. It's that important. These two women are excellent. They will steal the show. Let them main event next week, WWE. Please let them do it. Oh, they're gonna throw down inside of a steel cage, and I'm excited to see that match. And probably, if they're gonna do it next week, maybe, the real identity of La Luchadora will be exposed, because I'm sure she's still gonna interfere in the match. It's a steel cage, it's not a Hell in a Cell. They'll still be able to get inside of the ring somehow, some way. But hopefully if it's somebody debuting like Mickie James, who's been rumored that she signed with the WWE, they can do it next week. And, that'll end Becky Lynch versus Alexa Bliss, and it'll move on into a whole different storyline, which will be excellent. And I'm wondering if Naomi's coming back soon. I know she injured her ankle or something like that. So hopefully they insert her back in to SmackDown Live in some capacity. When she's healthy as well, because I'm ready to see her possibly go after the title. Like I said, she's one that definitely deserves a title match, so maybe she could be the next one to feud with Alexa Bliss. We'll see, but I'm excited for the steel cage match next week. So after that, we got that weird match I talked about earlier, Carmella versus some jobber. It was an enhancement match, but like I said, it was just sloppy. After the match, Carmella told James Ellsworth she had a surprise for him. He thought he was going to get a kiss. She told him she's going to take him on a shopping spree next week. And it was funny. He was like, yes, I waited 31 years for this moment. And he started with the whole breath spray, and he just puckered his lips up. He was ready. He thought he was about to get a kiss, and no, he got denied. So, I don't know what the whole Carmella thing is all over the place. I need her spilling the tea. I don't need her pulling on an invisible chin as she did. So we'll see where that goes. As Corbin was preparing for his main event match against John Cena, he was asked about, what Cena has said earlier, and he said he doesn't give a damn about what Cena said, or whatever he has to say. He said his time is now, and he makes good on his word, but tonight he's going to make Cena a liar, and it's going to be his end of days. I love these end of days promos that he drops right before his matches. It's badass. It's totally badass. And Corbin is one who can back up everything that he says. and it just adds hype to the match even more. And that's when we get the main event. We get Baron Corbin versus John Cena. AJ Styles was on commentary, and he was pretty much gassing up Corbin before the match, like, hey, tonight's about you. Go out there and beat up John Cena. So, AJ was just scouting Cena on commentary, just seeing if he's added anything new to his repertoire. And they have a very big match coming up at the Royal Rumble. So we have the match. It was a good match. Very good match. Corbin was able to get his shit in. Of course, Cena still won the match, but everybody expected that. Cena's going for the title. You're not going to have Cena lose to Baron Corbin if he's going after the world title. He's got to get a few wins in before the Royal Rumble happens. So, but Corbin losing to Cena didn't really hurt him either, because he got the main event with John Cena. There you go. He wasn't buried, so I hope nobody is out there saying that Corbin was buried, because he definitely wasn't. If anything, this elevates him, because it was the first time he ever faced John Cena, and he pretty much was pretty dominant against somebody of John Cena's size. John Cena ain't no small person. But, we had the match. Like I said, Corbin was doing great, dominating the match, pretty much making good on everything he was speaking on. But he did make a mistake. He was gloating a little bit too much, and he was trying not to impress AJ Styles, but he was trying to talk trash to AJ Styles at the same time to make sure that he was watching the match. And what that did is provided Cena the opportunity to gain the upper advantage on him, because, when he takes his eyes off of Cena for too long, that's a big mistake, and Cena was able to turn the match around for himself. Only for a quick second, though, because Corbin went back to taking over, complete dominance, got his offense in. It was great. It didn't seem like Cena had any ring rust. He was just, putting Corbin's movesets over. He sold for him pretty good. But Corbin, like I said, trash talking the whole match. He was trash talking Cena, trash talking commentary, especially AJ. Especially when Cena was trying to gain some offense, he was just overpowering him, which, like I said, isn't something that happens often, because Cena is not a small guy. So Cena was able to pull off a tornado DDT from the middle rope of the turnbuckle, executed perfectly. Then he hit the 5-knuckle shuffle and got the attitude adjustment for the win. Like I said, he caught Corbin slipping. Corbin got most of his offense in. Was hitting him with pretty much every move except the End of Days. Got the deep six in, and, was pretty much doing everything he could to win the match. But he got little too cocky, little too arrogant, which is kind of his gimmick a little bit. But you can't do that with Cena unless you're gonna stay on top of him for the absolute whole part of the match. Because once you give Cena an opening, that's pretty much it. So Cena was able to pick up the win. But Corbin didn't tap out or anything like that. He did lose the match, but it was a fun match to watch. And it's just building towards the Royal Rumble title match, so that's exactly why Cena won. I'm sure in the future they'll cross paths once again. And we'll probably see Corbin actually pick up a victory on Cena. Who knows? Who knows where they'll go with that. But, the Royal Rumble's coming up in, I think, about 2 to 3 weeks. We still got a little bit more building to do, a little bit more time for that. SmackDown's doing an excellent job of that, while Raw is just completely sucking. The first hour of SmackDown killed all 3 hours of Raw, even with The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels on the show. That's saying something. Like, how do you do that? Like, that doesn't make any sense. It's completely just asinine to me how one show can be completely trash, and then the very next night we get excellent programming, excellent booking, excellent storytelling, excellent matches. What? That doesn't make sense. They're the same company. It's different people, but it's the same people pretty much. I just don't understand it. I don't know. SmackDown was very enjoyable for me. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments section down below. Did you guys enjoy SmackDown? What was your favorite part? Did you think it was better than Raw this week? Are you guys getting excited for the Royal Rumble, at least from the SmackDown perspective of it? I want to thank you guys for watching. Slap a like on the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new. And I will talk to you guys later on. Peace.